I bet you didn't know that one of history's greatest kings might be the very same mysterious pharaoh mentioned in the Quran. This story will amaze you. In the heart of Egyptian history, the name Ramses II stands out as the greatest of the pharaohs. He wasn't just a king, but a symbol of power and fertility. He ruled Egypt for 67 years at the peak of its glory. He was born the son of Seti I. He inherited a world of changing alliances and conflicts with the Hittites to the north and Nubia to the south. He was a great warrior, diplomat, builder and father to dozens of children. He made his name a synonym for the greatness of Egypt. He carved his achievements on the walls of temples from the Delta all the way to Nubia. He made sure his name and image would live on everywhere. Studying Ramses II is our window into understanding the power and lasting magic of ancient Egypt. And as we look at his life, we'll also face a historical mystery. Was he the pharaoh of the Exodus mentioned in the Quran? It's worth noting that ancient Egyptians considered Ramses II a god, but here we are showing his life as a great ruler in the history of Egypt. Ramses II was prepared to be king since he was a child. He grew up in the royal palaces and learned how to rule and fight from his father, Seti I. He had a strict education in politics and religion. He was trained to lead armies and manage the country's affairs so he could be worthy of leading the great Egyptian empire. He became a co-ruler when he was young. He sat with his father at important events and helped make big decisions. This gave him early experience in running the empire. He learned the secrets of power by working closely with important priests and leaders. After his father passed away, he became king smoothly in his 20s, without any fights or problems. He started by finishing his father's temples in Abydos. This showed that the ruling family would continue and proved his loyalty to his father's memory. He built his new capital, Pi-Ramesses, in the Delta. It was a huge city that showed how ambitious he was. He made it the center of government, administration, and the military, making it a symbol of his new era. He focused on three main things: a strong army, deep-rooted religion, and massive building projects. He immediately started to strengthen all of them to make sure the country was stable and respected by other nations. He supported the army to get ready to fight the Hittites. He started a huge building program, putting up temples and palaces, and he reorganized the military. His wife, Nefertari, was closest to his heart. She was with him at important events. Her grand tomb in the Valley of the Queens shows how special she was in his life and in Egypt's history. And so, a new golden age for Egypt began, led by a young and ambitious ruler who believed anything was possible. Ramses II became a symbol of strength and wealth, and his name lives on in history. It's worth noting that ancient Egyptians saw the pharaoh as a sacred figure, but Ramses II was a great human ruler in the eyes of history. The Battle of Kadesh was a big moment in Ramses II's military journey and one of the biggest battles in ancient times. This huge fight happened by the Orontes River, where two great armies met to decide what would happen to the area for many years. Ramses II led a huge army north to face the Hittites. He had the newest weapons and war chariots, but he fell into a dangerous spy trap when he got wrong information about where the enemy was. This made him rush towards Kadesh without being ready enough. The Hittites suddenly attacked his front group, and his army was almost completely wiped out in the chaos. But Ramses didn't give up. He fought bravely in the middle of the battle and showed rare courage until Egyptian backup arrived, which turned the tide. Even though the battle wasn't a clear win for either side, it showed Ramses's bravery and his legend as a fearless warrior. It made his image as a strong leader live on in the minds of the Egyptians. The fight later ended with the first written peace treaty in history between Egypt and the Hittites. Both sides sat down to talk and signed an agreement that ended years of fighting and bloodshed. This treaty ended decades of war and brought a time of peace and growth. It allowed Egypt to focus on building and improving things instead of constant fighting. The Battle of Kadesh wasn't just a military fight. It was the start of new ways of talking things out in the Near East. It set the rules for talking and peace between the big powers of that time. Ramses knew how to turn even tough battles into good publicity. He used what happened at Kadesh to make himself look like a strong pharaoh to his people and his enemies. The ancient Egyptians saw him as very important, and some even thought he had godlike qualities. But that was part of their beliefs back then. He carved his brave deeds on temple walls and made his wins last forever in carvings and statues. This way his name would live on for generations, and his story would inspire Egyptians through the ages. That's how he made himself a legend, the unbeatable pharaoh, and he made the Battle of Kadesh a symbol of bravery and smart politics in ancient Egyptian history. Ramses II wasn't just a warrior. He was also the greatest builder in Egypt's history. He started a huge building program, from the temples of Karnak and Luxor to his capital city, Per-Ramesses. He put his name and picture on every stone, making sure his presence would last forever in every corner of Egypt. His giant statues and huge carvings were messages of power to everyone, both inside and outside Egypt. For Ramesses, building was about politics, money, and religion all at the same time. He boosted the economy, created jobs, and used architecture to show his power and importance. Every temple and statue was like an announcement of his greatness, as the ancient Egyptians even showed him as a god. His amazing buildings still impress the world, even today. Among Ramses II's greatest building achievements, the temples of Abu Simbel in Nubia and the Ramesseum in Thebes stand out as proof of his genius and big dreams. These two temples don't just show how strong Egypt was, but also Ramesses' idea of living forever and being special in history. Abu Simbel is carved completely out of rock, and its front has 4 huge statues of Ramses II sitting tall on the banks of the Nile. These statues aren't just signs of power. They're political messages that show Egypt's control over the south and make the pharaoh's name live on forever. The temple is made with amazing precision for the stars. Sunbeams go into the most sacred part twice a year, on February 22nd and October 22nd, lighting up the faces of Ramesses and the gods. This special event, to the ancient Egyptians, connected the pharaoh to the sun god Ra and showed the link between people and the universe in Egyptian beliefs. Next to the big temple is the smaller temple, made for Queen Nefertari, Ramesses' favorite wife. Nefertari's statues are the same size as Ramesses', which is a rare honor for a woman's place in ancient Egypt and shows the love and respect the queen received. As for the Ramesseum, it was a huge funeral temple built to remember Ramses II. Its decorated walls tell stories of his military wins, especially the famous Battle of Kadesh, and show scenes from his life and achievements. One of the most famous parts of the Ramesseum is Ramesses' broken statue, which inspired the poet Shelley to write the poem Ozymandias. This statue became a symbol of how human power fades, but it also makes Ramesses' memory live on forever in books and art. Even though many of Ramesses' temples have fallen apart over time, his amazing building skills and his ambitious spirit are still there in every stone and decoration. These great ruins aren't just silent old buildings, they are a timeless testament to Ramses II's desire to live forever through stone and his legacy that still amazes the world today. One of the most exciting questions is Ramses II the pharaoh of Moses mentioned in the Quran? The Quran doesn't say his name. It only calls him Pharaoh, which has caused a lot of debate. Many people think that Ramses' power and huge projects, especially the city of Per-Ramesses, match the description of the pharaoh who enslaved the Israelites. But there's no direct proof from old ruins that connects him to the story of the Exodus or Moses. Egyptian records don't say anything about a big disaster or defeat during his time. Some experts think that the Egyptians wouldn't have written down such a shameful defeat. Others doubt if the timing is right. So, the question remains a historical mystery with no clear answer. It's worth noting that ancient Egyptians believed the pharaoh was a god, but that was their belief back then. People who believe Ramses II was the pharaoh of Moses have a few reasons why. They point to the building of the city of Per-Ramesses in an area believed to be where the Israelites lived, and how big the projects were, needing a lot of workers. Also, the name Ramesses is mentioned in the Torah as a city built by the Israelites. Ramesses' proud and bossy personality matches how the pharaoh is described in the Quran, and the ancient Egyptians even thought he was a god. Some people see his well-preserved mummy as proof of the verse, "Today we will save you in your body." Even though there's no solid proof, these clues keep the discussion going and add a dramatic touch to the story. Ramses II remains the top candidate in what people generally believe and in religious stories. Even though the idea is strong, there are big reasons why Ramses II might not be the pharaoh from the Exodus story. There are no records in Egypt that say the Israelites were slaves or that any big disasters happened during his time. His mummy shows he died a natural death, not by drowning. His son Merneptah took over smoothly, with no signs of things falling apart or a big disaster. The Merneptah stele mentions Israel as a people in Canaan after Ramesses died. This makes it hard to fit with the timing of the Exodus. Many historians think this is a big debate, so connecting Ramesses II to the story of Moses remains a never-ending argument. Whether Ramesses II was the pharaoh of Moses or not, Ramesses II remains one of Egypt's greatest rulers. His long reign brought stability and prosperity and left a lasting mark on history. The Battle of Kadesh, the first peace treaty in history, and his amazing buildings made his name live on forever. From his capital in the north to his temples in the south, his monuments still amaze the world. The debate about his connection to the Exodus story added a sense of mystery to his life story. His real legacy is his quest for forever, as he carved his name and picture everywhere. His mummy connects us directly to the time of the pharaohs, showing how strong his ambition was. Ramesses II, who the ancient Egyptians thought was a god, his name will live on in human memory. If you liked this story and want to know more about the secrets of history, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to get all the new stuff. Thanks for watching.